After a month of weekends and time after work, I finally finished this chicken coop. Most of the wood that I used had cracks that had to be glued or bad spots that had to be cut out because the wood was either free scraps or deeply discounted cull lumber. Once that was done, I started working on the cut list and the plans. I decided not to design my own coop, and I found free plans online. I'll leave a link below where you can find them. The woodwork went fairly fast for me, but the painting took way more time than I wanted. I think it may be time to get that sprayer I've had my eye on. Assembly was done with screws. I have a framing gun which would have made things faster, but my sister Julie, who is the one giving me the chickens, wanted me to do it with screws because, as she said, once you've had enough of chickens, you can disassemble the coop and I'll be able to haul it home. Chicken wire was stretched, stapled, and later a strip of lath was nailed over the stapled areas. The doors were made quickly with a Craig jig. With the cage finished, it was time to make the coop. I did all of this with a circular saw on a fence. Working with a circular saw this way requires cutting out corners by hand or jigsaw and doing plunge cuts. It takes careful measurements and cutting to avoid errors, but after a while the sides of the coop are cut and ready for painting and assembly. A slide-out tray and nesting box will make cleanup a lot easier. Later I laminated plastic to the bottom to make it even easier to clean. There are 3 sets of doors on this coop and they all need hinges. Hinges are something that seem like they should be easy to do until you actually do them. These doors are all inset, so it takes care to get them so that they inset flush with the surrounding frame. Factoring in the thickness of the hinge metal, this often requires some mortising. Once the doors are done, it's back to that never-ending task of painting. Adding a feature not included in the plans, I decided to attach wheels, making this coop into a chicken tractor. From the beginning, I thought this coop might be a little overbuilt, but I went along with the plans anyway, which means that the wheels had to be extra heavy duty. I used handcart wheels, and they seem to be working pretty good. There are a few changes that I plan on making that are not in this video, but I will include them on the web page, so if you're interested in that, definitely check it out, where I'll be putting other updates I make as well. Now, when you have a coop that looks like a barn, painted red and white, what other kind of roof is even possible other than a corrugated tin roof? I have 2 angle grinders, one with a cutting blade and one with a sanding grinding wheel, to smooth out the edges. All of my pieces came from a single 12-foot length of tin roofing. That, a stick of 2-inch flashing, some tar paper and screws, and it's really starting to come together. I had some drain pipes sitting around, and so I made it into the feeder. Using a regular cap on the bottom would not allow it to fit through the hole in the coop, so I had to get crafty and make the bottom another way. The plans called for a garden next to the coop. I decided to make easy access water and food buckets on part of that space. The other part may indeed become a garden, but it will be potted plants, or I may have buckets with supplies and tools sitting there. This way I have more flexibility for that space. These removable panels sit underneath the actual floor and are drainage to help keep the cage beneath drier. Plastic flashing is glued to them and they slope so that the water goes down to the corner and out the side of the cage. Another scrap of drain pipe moves the water away from the cage. Okay, it's time for a once-over before the new occupants arrive. The cage is only 5 feet by 5 feet, but with the coop above, it should be plenty of room for 2. Kind of a tiny house for chickens. In the interest of keeping this video short, there are a lot of building details that I glossed over here, but if you're interested, I will be explaining more on the web page, which you can find via the link below or by going to oldmontgomerysfarm.com. And that's it. Meet Ruby, a Rhode Island Red, and Rosie, a Buff Orpington.
Wait, I can't see you.
Enjoy your stay at Old Montgomery's Farm, ladies.